everyone. Welcome to the third session of Getting Started to Flutter. So, the today we will be starting how to make a to-do app, which I'm showing the image right now. So, this is the to-do app which will be building. This is really basic to-do app which will be building. So, there will be an app bar and a input field which will be used to add new tasks, and then you can also see whatever task which you saved previously, and then you can select them, deselect them, and then you can also have the option to delete it. So this will be split into two sessions. So today we will be doing the basic UI, and then tomorrow we will do the main functionality of the app. So let's get started. So if you guys have your laptops, then you can open a separate folder and then open Git there. So I opened the Git bash here. So it's in the projects folder. You can name it whatever folder you want. So first run this command called flutter create, and then now comes the app name, the actual app name. So I will name this as to do app, and then click on enter. But then you can see that it is an invalid name because all the alphabets should be lowercase. So I'll just add a underscore here. So let's just wait for some time because it'll get all the dependencies and then do it. So you can see that it is done right now. So I'll just cd into to-do app, which is the folder which is created right now. So cd is nothing but change directory. So you're just going inside the folder right now. So if I do ls here, so it is just going to list out the items which is already there. So you can see there is a README file, analysis options, Android folder, iOS folder. So I'll just open VS Code inside this folder. So to open VS Code, you will just type code and then give a space and then period. And then click on enter. You can see that my VS Code has opened here. Okay, so if this is clear, so we'll be building this app today, and make sure that you have your emulator up and running, and then open a terminal, and then what you'll have to do is flutter run. Okay, so when you do flutter run, it will take some time to run the Gradle, which is going to build the APK for you, and then it is going to install it in your emulator, and then it is going to open it. So I'll just wait for some time, and then when it is getting built, I'll just explain you the basic things about this folder structure. So as you can see, the main code which we'll be editing will be in the lib folder, so library folder. So inside this, there is this main dart file. So this is the main file which we'll be editing. So our app execution starts from this file itself. So you can see this Linux folder, macOS folder, test folder, Windows folder, iOS, and Android. So all these folders are just compiled versions of the Dart ones. So in Windows, you can see the C++ codes, and then in Android, you can see Java or Kotlin. In iOS, you can see Swift and that kind of compiled versions of the code. So now we can see that it is up and running. So if I open my Android emulator, you can see it is running right here. So this is just a basic counter app, which is done default when you create an app. So you can see when I click on this floating, so this button is called a floating action button. So whenever I click on this button, you can see it is going to increment the number. So we don't want this floating button right now. So what I'll do is I'll remove this const app, my app, and then I will delete this entire code right here, and then save it. Don't worry about this header. And then this is really important. Delete this test folder. Okay. So delete this test folder, and then you can see that this one needs a argument right now. So I will create a widget right now. So if you have installed this Flutter extension in your VS Code, then it will be really easy to generate snippets. So I'll just type st, And then you can see there is two types of widgets which is available, which is stateful widget and stateless widget. So now we will be building a stateless widget because there won't be any data related to it. I mean, when there is data and then your UI is going to change with respect to the data which is present, then you use a stateful widget. But then here, because we are building the basic UI right now, the stateless widget will be enough. So I'll just click on the stateless widget, and then you can see the first two things are highlighted. These are the main names. So I'll just name it as to do, and then I'll just run this here. Okay, and then I will be returning a material app, and then inside a material, we use this thing is called as a wrapper or a widget. So this material app will provide us all the widgets which are defaultly made by Google's material UI. And then, so the first parameter which will be passing here is this home. So home is a widget where it basically tells whenever the app is open, so you have to go to the home page. So this defines where the app should go, the home page, how it should look. So the home page, I'll just give a basic text right now. So I'll just tell hello. And then what I'll do now is I'll do hot restart, which is capital R. So when I click on hot restart, you can see that the mobile is displaying hello here. But then this is a really ugly UI right now. So we will change it. So instead of this, what I'll do is I will put home here. And then I need a scaffold. So scaffold is a widget which is used as a layout. So in a mobile app, so there is this basic layout called as app bar, and the middle part is called as body, and the bottom part is called as bottom navbar or something. So the scaffold widget is going to give you a basic layout for other app. So click on type scaffold, and then you can see when you click control space, you can see all the parameters which will be available and which can be added. And then here you can see there are lots of other things. So it prefers a key and then app bar. So this app bar is what we need right now. So what I'll do is I'll type app bar, and then this app bar parameter requires another widget called app bar. So basically, Flutter is all about widgets. So you can see that we have a widget material app. Inside that widget, we have a parameter called home. And then inside the parameter home accepts another value, which is a widget scaffold. And inside scaffold, we have another parameter app bar. And this app bar uh, accepts a value called app bar. So that is another widget. So Flutter is all about widgets. It's nothing but nested widgets inside widgets. So we will do app bar right now. So as of now, I'll just reload it right now. You can click on R for hot reload. And when I open my emulator, you can see there's just a blank space right here. So what I'll do right now is you can also see this debug banner right here. I will remove it afterwards. So first, let me build the app bar. So when you look at this image, you can see there is a color for this. So this color is a gray color. And then you can see there is a menu bar here, and then the calendar and a user icon here. So we'll try adding that. So inside app bar, when you click control space, you can get actions, bottom opacity, center title, and all that stuff. So first we'll try a title. So title, I'll just put to do app. So when you just type to do, it is telling that it is an error. So why is this an error? As I said before, Flutter is all about widgets. So the text also should be inside a widget. So there is this widget called text. So this in here you can just put to do app. So this doesn't bring up an error. So when I open my emulator, you can see there is a text or title in the app bar. So to differentiate between the body and the app bar, what you can do is you can add a background color. So when you have this Flutter extension installed, it will be really handy because it will automatically auto completes the snippets for you. So background color, you can specify a color using colors dot. I'll choose black, and black 12 will be fine with me. So if I do this and then reload it, you can see the background color has been changed. Okay, I'll just hot restart it. Okay, so you can see the background color has changed to black 12. So now this debug banner is really annoying me right now. So I'll just tell you guys how to remove it. So go inside material apps parameter, and then type debug show checked banner. It will just auto complete it. So you can see it is going to accept a Boolean value. It's just true or false. If it's true, by default it is true, so that it is showing it right here. I'll just change it to false. And then if I reload it, you can see it has disappeared. So that is how you remove the debug banner. And then now you might ask, how do I center this text to the middle of the app bar? So there is another parameter called center title. That is also a Boolean. So if I type true and then reload it, the text is in the middle. So I will just remove this text and title because in the demo image which we have right here, we don't have a title here. So what I'll do is I will just remove this center title and title. And then the colors are actually matching right now, so that is fine. And then we need a icon, menu icon. So this is not a clickable icon as of now. So what I'll do is I'll just add a icon. So before that, I will just open this documentation. So if I open flutter.dev and then go to docs, and then I'll go to widget catalog, and then go to widget index. Okay. So you can also open this link. It will be really handy. And Flutter's documentation is one of the best documentation which I've seen as of now. So when I just scroll down, you can see there is this app bar thing. So you can click on app bar, and then you can see, as I said, there was a title. So this is the title parameter, and then we have a leading parameter right now. So in the leading parameter, what I will do is I will add an icon. So this is where the menu icon is. So what I'll do is I'll use this leading parameter and then add an icon there. So if I just type leading, it auto completes it. And then I need an icon. So how do you add an icon? So that should also be inside a widget, obviously, because it's Flutter. So I'll just type icon, and then inside the brackets, I'll just put icons.menu. So all these icons which is available right here are provided but by Material UI. Okay, so that is why we are wrapping this app with a Material apps widget right here. So I can use the icons which is defined by Material UI. So if I run this, reload it, so you can see that there is a menu bar there. So that is how you add a menu bar in the app. And then now what I'll be doing is, you can see the next thing to be added is these two icons. These two icons are just for aesthetic purposes right now, so we'll just add it. So if I check out the color is fine with the icon. And then one more important thing. So you can change colors of the app also, icons also. So if I just do colors dot amber and then reload it, you can see the color of the icon will change. I'll just do it red right now. So it is red. And then I can also change the size of the icon. So it accepts a null value or a double value. So it is a floating point number, or you can just give an integer. So it will just compile it to a float. So don't worry about it. I'll just give 48 and then reload it. And then this is really big. So I'll just leave it default. This was just to show that you can change the color and change the size. So if this is all right, then we will add this icon right here. So these two icons, the calendar and this, and then this user thing. So to add that, when I go to the documentation, you can see I need multiple icons to be added. So there is this parameter called actions. So you can use as actions to add icons to the end. So I'll just type that thing here. So if I do actions, you can see that it accepts a list. So inside a list, you can have lots of other widgets. So if I do icons dot calendar month, and then icons dot user. So I'll just search for the user right now. Okay, so I think this is the right icon. So if I reload it, you can see there are two icons added. But then when I look into the image, they are equally spaced right now. So there is some margin. I mean, so there is some gap between the last user icon and the edge of the phone itself. So this is not like that. So what I'll do is there is this really handy way to add padding to icons. So just click on the icon. I mean, just put your cursor there and then right click. You can see this refactor option. Click on the refactor option and then you can see wrap it with padding or wrap it with center or container and all that stuff. So as of now, I just need to add padding. So what I'll do is wrap it with padding. If I do this, you can see automatically it wraps it around and then the padding widget has a child parameter, which is the icon itself. So what this one does is, I'll just reload it quickly and then you can see this. So there is enough gap right now. So I'll just explain what this does. So this is the padding parameter and then edge insects. So this is just going to add padding all around the edges of the thing. So there is this function for edge insects that is all, and then all is there, and then only and symmetric. So if it is all, that means that you're going to add padding in all the sides, meaning top, bottom, right, and left. So if I do just only, and then put it as right as 15, what this does is it is going to add padding to the right. So you can see there is 15 pixels padding to the right. So if it is not clear, I'll just do it as 40 and then reload it. You can see that it is just 40 to the right. So you can do it as top also. If I reload it, you can't see, I mean, the icon is pushed down. So you can see that works. And then I can do symmetric also. If I do symmetric, then the top, bottom, right, left parameters won't be the values. It should be horizontal or else vertical. So if I do horizontal and then do 10 and then reload it, you can see it is equally spaced right now. So this is all about padding. And then I'll just change it to 15 because I think 15 is a good value to start with when I look at the image. And then you can notice that these icons are a bit dull. So what I'll do is I'll change the color of the icons. So if I do colors dot black, I'll change it to black and then reload it. So you can see the difference. The user icon is a bit dull and the calendar icon is a bit black. So that is good. So I'll just copy this line and then, sorry, I'll just copy this and then paste it here and then reload it. You can see both are of the same color and then I'll do the same for this menu icon also. So everything is in a equal color right now. Tab and then yeah, this is all right. So when I look into the image, let me just make it small, and then look into the image on the preview here. So it is the app bar is matching. So that is a so now the app bar is finished. So what I'll be doing now is making this part right here, the body part. So guys can see that the scaffold is there, and then there is a app bar. So inside a scaffold, we have a body parameter, which means nothing but the area which is below the app bar. So what I'll do is you can find this app bar. So this is the end of app bar here. So I can just type body here and it auto fills it. I mean, it auto suggests what it is. And then for body, I will do a list view, or first I will just do a text, normal text. So if I do hello and then reload it, you can see there is this hello text which is displayed in the body. So the area which is below the app bar is the body. So inside the body, we have a text right now. So that text is being displayed there. And then what I will do is, it is really clumsy when you have lots of code in your main build widget itself. And then uh, this will affect your hot reload function. So what I will be doing now is I will create this as a separate widget. So what you guys need to do is just click on the app bar, go to refactor, just right click on the app bar and then click on refactor and then click on extract method. So when you click on extract method, it is going to cut it out and then it is going to ask you a name, the method name. The methods are nothing but functions. So each and every function should have a unique name. So what I will name the function here as is underscore app bar. Okay, I'll just do capital bar BAR. And then when I click enter, you can see instead of all the code inside app bar, we just have the function name. So coming down, you can see there is this app bar function. So the return type is a app bar because we are returning a app bar. That is obvious. And then when I hot restart it, hopefully it shouldn't make any difference. So there is no difference in the virtual emulator right now because it's the same thing. So uh, now you might ask a question whether we can style the text or not. Definitely you can style the text. So you can just inside the text widget, you can just put a comma and then put style. And then what this accepts is a text style. So for each and every styling or a text, you must use widgets in Flutter, especially. So I'll just put text style and then inside the bracket, like you can see there is color, background color, font family. Uh, Good evening, everyone. This is Shashank. So welcome to the session 4 of Getting Started with Flutter. And as we all know, from the previous session, we will be building this basic to-do app. So we'll be continuing on the build itself. So yesterday we finished up with the app bar itself. So I have my virtual emulator loaded up. So the app bar is finished. So today we'll be discussing about the body part itself. In the body part, we see that there is a text input where you can add new to-do items. And then it also displays all the to-do items which is already available. And then you can also select them and deselect them. And then you can also delete them. So I hope you guys have your Android emulator running. And then you have the code base. So, okay. So you can see the app bar itself is here and it is a separate method. So I just separated it as a separate method. And then now it's the body uh, parameter, which we have to fill it up. So for the body, what we'll do is we will have a widget called list view. You can see in the image itself. So these things are aligned as a list. So this is a separate element. This is a separate element, and all these to-dos are a separate elements. So these things are called as list tiles. So I'll be discussing more on that in the future. So we'll try to make this text input right now. So before that, I will just convert this stateless widget into a stateful widget. So what do you mean by stateless widget and stateful widget? So in stateless widget, we don't have any data which will directly impact our UI. So that basically means that consider a counter app. So when you click on the button, it automatically increments the number which is displayed on the screen. So that directly impacts your UI. So what that means is whenever you click on the button or the user interacts with the UI, so your UI is changing according to that. So that is where some state is provided. So the state variables in the counter app will be the counter itself. So when you have some data which is going to affect your UI or your UI is going to be rebuilt again, so that is when you call it as a stateful widget. So in the stateless widget, we don't have any data which is going to change. So I'll just convert this into a stateful widget. One quick way to convert it is just clicking on this stateless widget, right click on it, refactor, and convert to stateful widget. So this will work only when you have your Flutter extension installed in VS Code. So I just converted it to a stateful widget. So you can see this extends to the to-do extends to stateful widget. So the stateful widget is the super class, and then you are just inheriting all the methods and variables which is there in stateful widget into the to-do class. And then you are assigning all the keys to it. And then you are overriding this function create state to to-do state. So this to-do state is another class where you will have the main data itself. So this class is linked to this class. Okay, so before I'll just create a input text here. So I'll just create a list view first, list view, and then it accepts children. So you can have lots of uh, widgets inside the list view itself. So you can see the first widget will be the text input itself. So for this text input, we have this. First, let me just put a container for that because I want it to be spaced by this much pixels from left and right. So I'll put a container to it. And then the child for this will be a text field. So in this text field, I will put a style. So this will be a text, not a text style. So there is this one parameter for this. I'll just reload it, hot reload it. And then you can see there is a text field here. So when I click on this, you can see my keyboard pops up and I can type anything I want. And then click on enter, I just keyboard just disappears. So this is the text field, the basic text field. So I want to edit this. So what I can do is I can put hint text here. So whenever you have a text field, you can't just say what data it is going to accept. So you need to prompt the user what kind of data he should enter, maybe like emails, passwords, and all that stuff. So for that, what you have to do is there is this parameter called decoration, and then you have input decoration. For input decoration, you have int text. So in hint text, you can just put this add a new task, some basic placeholder text, and then you can see it says add a new task. So when I type something, it is going to disappear. And then inside the, when I see this image, So this add a new task is there, and then we have a add icon, and then we have a box itself. So the decoration is different for this text field. So you can see there is this bottom line here, which I don't want. So what I'll do is border, and then we have something called outline input border. And then inside that, we can have a border radius. So I'll put this border radius to around something around 10, and then I'll refresh it. Uh, yeah, so you can see there is 10 pixels of border radius around the text input. And I don't see any border in this. So what I'll do is I can remove the border. So I'll just put a comma, and then border side dot none. Okay. So if I refresh or reload this and then open the emulator, you can see there is no border. So, and then you can see there is a background fill for this container, the text field itself. So we have another parameter called filled. So I have to put it to true, and then the fill color itself. So for colors, you do colors dot the color which I'm going to choose is black 12. So if I reload it, you can see it is proper right now. So, and then when you look at this thing, it is properly spaced with the edges. So what I will do is for the list view itself, there is this parameter called padding here, padding, and then I'll do padding dot edge insects dot symmetric, and then I want horizontal to be 15 and vertical to be around 20 maybe. So if I reload this, you can see we got it properly spaced. So, and then for the icon, we need a plus icon here. So that is not actually an icon, it is an icon button. So whenever you click on the icon, it should perform a specific task. So for this, you have a text field, right? So inside that, you can do suffix icon. Okay. So for suffix icon, I'll do icon icons.add. If I reload this, you can see there is a add icon placed there in the end. So when I click on this icon, nothing is going to happen. So I want something to happen when I click on that icon. So what I'll do is I'll remove this, and then I'll do icon button. So inside icon button, the icon parameter will accept a icon widget. So inside icon icons dot add. There is this error popping up because I have to mention this on pressed parameter also. So I'll do on pressed, and then this is a function itself. So inside the function, what I'll be doing is I'll just put this print uh, add clicked. Okay. And then don't forget the semicolons. I'll just hot reload it. And then now when I click on this icon, you can see I get the output as add clicked. Okay. So when I click on this, I get this add clicked. So actually, that is not what we'll be wanting to add to the to-do list, right? We need whatever is entered inside the to-do field that should be printed out in the console. So what I'll do is I will remove this print statement. So in Flutter, for all the text fields, we need a special controllers. So when I do add the controller parameter, it accepts a text editing controller. So we don't have this controller right now. So I will just create it quickly. So this text editing controller is a controller which is going to control the text fields itself. So the type is text editing controller, and then I'll call this controller as controller itself, and then I will do it. This should be final or late. So now we have this life cycle for widgets. Okay, so what this basically means is we have this build class and we have this init state class. So whenever you're going to build a app, so initially the init state code runs first. It runs first, and then the build state build function runs. So we need to initialize this control even before the widgets are being built. So what I'll do is I'll just type init state. So it is going to generate a snippet, and then don't worry about these things because this is the super class from stateful widget, and we are just initializing the state here. So now what I'll do is I'll take this controller, and then you can see it is auto filling it for me. So you have this widget called text editing controller. So we are assigning that to this function. And you can see this yellow squiggly lines saying that it isn't used. So we will use it somewhere right now. So here you can see controller. So I'll just do underscore controller. So now we don't have any errors. So now what I have to do is I want to print whatever is returned back by the controller when the icon is clicked. So I'll do underscore controller dot. You can see selection, text, value, has listeners, and all that stuff. Now you need to worry about just the text. So when I do text, and then don't forget the semicolons, and then I will reload it. And then when okay, it has not been initialized. So what I'll do is I'll do hot restart. Don't do hot reload. Press capital R. So you can see it is hot restarted because we added a new thing to the state. So you need to hot restart whenever you have added a new item or variable inside a state. So I'll type something here, maybe hello, and then click on this plus icon. So you can see hello is being printed here. So now whenever I click on this icon, I want the text field to be cleared out. So for that, what you can do is Flutter also executes the programs line by line. So what we can do is controller dot clear. We have this function called clear for controllers. So when I just do hot reload and then I do hello and then click on this, it is just going to erase it after printing it out. So now that the input field is done, the next thing which we have to do is add this text called all to dos. So for that, even before that, this widget is getting a bit larger. So what I'll do is I'll just right click on it, refactor, and then I'll do extract method. So I'll name this as body, and then yeah, it is getting separated out as a separate method. So if this is much clearer to you, then we will add the text, all to dos, and then these list tiles. So for this, I will, after the text field, what I'll do is, yeah, after this container, I'll add another container. So I'm adding another container because we are going to put a text there. So when in the future, when I need to add some styling to the text itself, I can't directly add it. So when I want to add some styling or padding to a text, then you have to wrap it around with a container. So I'll add a container, and then the child for this container will be text. And this text is all to dos. So I'll just reload it right here. And then you can see it is added here. But then this is not as, it is not as close to this. So what I'll do is I will add styling to the text. So style property, and then inside that I'll do text style. And then inside text style, I'll do font size. So the font size, I'll keep it at 32. We can play around with the values. So yeah, 32 is fine, I guess. And then it is a bit bold. So font weight, I'll add font weight to be uh, bold or W400. I reloaded it, so same thing. Yeah, okay. So W600 does the job. So now you can see that there is no space between the text field and this text. So what I'll do is I will add some margin to the text field. So inside a container, you have this property called margin. So this margin edge insects dot, I'll do it only for the bottom. So I'll use the only property and then bottom to be 10. I'll check it out with 10. Yeah, I think that is a good amount of space for the text field and the text. So the next thing we have to do is the list style itself. So for this list style, what you can see that for each and every to do, we have a list style. So it will be really time consuming if you do it for each and everything, because the data which we'll be playing with will be dynamic, meaning it can have 100 or 10 or 5. So it can be any number which you want. So you can't, if the number of to-dos are 1,000, so you can't just type 1,000 of the same codes, right? So what another thing which can which we can do is we can make it as a method. So if we build a separate widget for that, then it would be really good. So what I will do is I will open my file folder and I'll click on lib and then I'll add to do uh, item dot. Okay. So here I will create a stateless widget. So just type ST and then this will pop up and I'll select stateless widget. If I click on that, it will ask me the name. So I'll do to do item. Okay. So this thing will be a list style. So this will be a list style. Now I will just call it right here. So this list style, I'll just add a few data here. So I'll put a title for this. So the title will be a text. So I'll do a sample to do. Okay, sample to do. Now I'll save this and then call it right here. After the container, I'll put a comma and then I'll do to do item. Okay, so if I do comma and then again copy it and then paste the same thing again and then do reload, you can see we have sample to do and sample to do 2 times because we called it 2 times. So if I change something here like sample and then reload it, it is just going to say as sample. So for this, what I will do is I will put this inside a container. So basically what list style does is uh, I need to add a background color before that so that I can explain it more clearly. So you can see it is clickable. When I click on it, you can see in the console there are some values displayed. So what I will do is I will wrap this around with a container so that I can add a color to it. So I'll go right click on that and then refactor and then wrap it with container. So inside a container, what I can do is I can add a background. I'll just do decoration. So box decoration, and then the color should be black 12. Okay. So when I reload this, you can see it is getting this gray shade to it in the background, just like the demo app itself. So what I will do now is I'll add some spacing between each and every list style. So margin bottom, so edge insects and only the bottom should be 10. So if I do this and reload it, you can see it is spaced out. And then for the heading on this itself, we need some space. So I'll do margin for this also. Edge insects and only bottom should be 10 here also. So if I reload it, it is spaced evenly. So we need some border radius for this list style. So I'll do border radius here. Border radius, it should be circular and 10 would be good, I guess. Yeah, so 10 is looking good. And then you can see there is this checkbox icon in the front. So this is the leading icon, and then this is the trailing icon. So in list tile, I have this leading icon. So this will be an icon. So icons dot checkbox, and it should be outlined blank. So if I reload this, you can see it is just a empty unchecked checkbox. So and then I want this delete icon in the end also. So I'll do trailing and the same thing, icons icons dot delete. If I reload it, you can see the delete icon. But then when you look at this, yeah, and then when you look at this, you have a bit more spacing for this list style, right? But then this one looks a bit compact or packed in. So what I'll do is for this container, I'll add some padding. So I'll do it symmetric, only the vertical part, and I'll add it as 10. So if I reload this, you can see it is a bit big. But 10 is a big value, so I'll just go with 5. If I do 5, yeah, 5 is fine. So whenever I click on this delete icon, I should be able to do something. So what I will do is I will change it into a icon button. So I will delete this. Icon button, and the icon should be icons dot delete. And then we need a on pressed property for this. So on pressed, I'll just print out delete clicked. Then if I reload this, whenever I click on this button, I get this message called delete clicked. Okay. And then the main idea of using list style is instead of clicking on this checkbox, you can click anywhere on this list style and then it is going to strike it out. So that is one good property about list style. So wherever you click, some function is going to be executed. So in list style, I have this on tab function. So on tab function, what I'll do is I'll just print uh, list style clicked. Now if I reload it and then click on this list style anywhere, you can see the code is getting function is getting executed. So when I click on this delete button specifically, the list style won't be activated. So just the delete button is being clicked. So now all these buttons should have a unique function. So we'll discuss it in the future. So for this data, what I'm doing is I'm just calling this functions again and again. So if I just copy this and then paste it again and then reload it, you can get 4 samples. So this is not really dynamic, right? So what I'll do is I will create a class for the to-do function itself. So inside the library, I will create a to uh, list dot dart. Okay. So to-do list dot dart. I'll create a class. Remember, it should be capital letters, and then I will have these variables called as text, and then I want ID for each and everything for each and every to do, and then I'll have a boolean is done, and then I will set it by default to false. Okay. We get this red squiggly lines because it can't be a null value. So we will create a constructor for that. So to create constructor, you use the same class name itself, to do, and then it should be a named parameter. So uh, for that, you use this curly braces, and then I'll do this dot text. So it is auto-filling it for me. I'll just click on tab, and then this will work. And then I'm getting this error because it can be optional. So I will change it to required so that I won't miss out on the values. So yeah, if I do this required text, whenever I'm not going to pass these values, then it is going to throw up a error. Okay, so now this class is done, but then I will add a method to it so that I will get the initial to-do list itself. So that you do it using a static keyword, and then this will be a list of to-dos. So to-do, these angle brackets are used to specify what kind of data inside the list is going to be present. So I'm going to have classes inside the list. So I'm just passing this to do here itself. So the function name will be to do list. And then inside this, I'll be returning a list. So inside the list, the first thing will be to do. And then the text will be eat breakfast. And the ID will be a string, which is 1. And then this to do will be, okay, it should be a comma. This to do let it be watch mobile. The next one will be develop apps. And then, yeah, this will be fine for now. And then don't forget the semicolon. Yeah, so I'll go to this main.dart file. I'll remove this completely for now and then reload it. You can see there is nothing displayed here. So what I'll be doing here is inside this, I'll define a variable here, which is late to-do list is equal to, but then we need a type for this, right? So the type will be a list, and then the type inside each and every element inside the list will be of the type to do. So I'll just do to do there, and then we have this to do dot. The function is to do list. So to do list. Okay. So even before this, I'm putting minor because it is not defined in our to-do list. I have to import it. So I'll just copy this and then paste it here, and then I'll do to-do list. Isn't defined for the type to do. For correcting the name, I'll just try renaming this to something to do data. Then what I'll do is I'll just to do dot to do data. Okay, so there is no need to do this thing here, I guess. And this should be a final element. Okay. The to-do list is not working. Just a second, guys. I'll change this one value to values is done also should be there. So required is done to be false. The default value doesn't need these values, I guess. Yeah. So I'll just delete this here and do final to do list equal to the to do class and to do data. Okay, so I think I know why this is not working because you see here we have this class name as to do and then we are just calling to do again, but then this to do data thing is not defined right now. So what I'll do is I'll just do to do item here. Okay, I have to put a late modifier here because this data is going to be assigned later, but then we are guaranteeing it that we are going to add a data to it. So to do must have a, okay, this also should be to do item and this should be to do item. Okay, everything basically to do item. Yeah. So here what I'll do is I'll change this to do item and then yeah, the error is gone. Okay, so what I will do is instead of initializing it here, I can move it to this also. But then the data is not big enough, so I'll just put it here itself. So if I reload it right now, you can see there is no data displayed here. So what I'll do is here I have to display it. So I'll do for loop for int I equal to 0 and then I is less than the length of the list itself. So to do list dot length, and then I will increment I by 1. So inside this, I need the values to be passed on to do item. Okay. So this to do item should accept some values right here. So I'll just create it is auto filling it for me. So I'll just create some variables like this and then actually not this. So the data will be to do and then to do itself of the type to do. Okay. Okay. So I have to define the to do item here. So what I'll do is this dot to do and then it is required item. Okay. So what I'll do here is instead of displaying a text like this, I can just display the title of the to do. So to do dot text. So the text isn't defined for to do. Okay, this is to do item. Okay. Okay, so this is to do dot text in the main dot dart file. I have to fill this in. So to do item and then the text will not this to do. Okay. So this is also a to-do item right here. So I have to, okay, this is a capital TODO. So this is a small TODO. So that won't be a problem. Okay, so the to-do will be to-do list of I. So if I reload this, you can see I have all these data, the three data which is already there. So the to-do list has three data right here. So and those three data are being displayed here. So for this, I'll just add a is done property to be true, and then reload it. There is no difference because we are not using this to do is done in the to do item right now. So whenever the is done property is true, I want to change the things. So change things like the checkbox should be filled, and then the strike through also should be there. So for that, uh, what you can do is you can there is this property and there is this syntax in Flutter called as ternary operations. So it is just one line if statements. So if it is true, then this block will be executed. If it is false, the next block will be executed. So basically it is like that. So for the icon here, I'll do to do dot is done, and then I'll put a question mark icon icons dot. I'll just delete this quick. And then whenever it is true, then I want it to be filled. Checkbox, this checkbox. And then if it is false, it should be icons dot checkbox, the outline blank. Icon can't be assigned as a parameter. Okay, this should be just icons because there is already an icon outside. Okay, so this will work. If I reload it, you can see, wait, just let me hot restart it. Yeah. So you can see the isDone property is true for eat breakfast. So it is checked checkbox. So if I change this also as is done as true and then reload it, you can see what restarted. Okay, so you have to go to the main file and then do hot restart. And then you can see the second one is also checked. So I wanted to be checked and also I had to get a line through the text. So for that, what I can do is we have this text property here. So this text property, I'll do styling for that. And then for styling it as text style. And then for the text style, I'll have a decoration. Decoration on the decoration will be this text decoration. So this text decoration dot line through. So if I do this and then refresh it, you can see I'm getting a strike through for each and every to-do item here. So I don't want that. Only the ones which is done as true should have this strike through. So what I'll do is inside the decoration itself, I'll do to-do dot is done. And then if it is true, then the line through should be there, or else text decoration dot none. Okay. So if I reload this, now you can see whenever it is completed, then I get a strike through, or else no. So now what I have to do is I will implement this function when I click on this tile. I have to get this to be toggled, meaning if it is already done, it should be unchecked. If it is already unchecked, then it should be checked. Okay, so I want to handle this click right here, which is done on this on tab function. So on tap, I want to create a function. So I'll go to this main.dart file. I'll create a function right here. So this will be a void function. And this void function will be having parameters like it is going to get the ID of the to-do itself basically, and then it is going to change the is done to the not of is done. So I'll do handle click, and then the parameter will be to do, and then this what I'll do is to do dot is done should be not of is done. So this is basically the function for toggling between checked and unchecked. So this function has to be passed on to the to-do item itself. So I will just accept the to-do function here. So final and then click handler. Okay. So this also will be a required parameter. This dot click handler. So what this has to do is whenever I click on tap, I have to pass those parameters to click handler. So click handler and then the to do item itself. So this to do is coming from this to do here. So these to dos will be passed from this here. And then the click handler will be the handle click. So I'll just hot restart this and then go here. And then hopefully when I click on one of these list tiles, I have to toggle the state state of them. So when I click on this, it doesn't change it. So what basically happened here is whenever I'm doing this right here, it is just changing its value, but then it is not re-rendering the UI itself. So as I said, this is a stateful widget. So we have to wrap it around with a set state. So when I do set state, so what this set state basically does is whenever the data is going to be changed, it is going to call this build function again. So when this build function is going to be called again, the UI is going to re-render basically, but then the data will be the same. I mean, the updated data will be there. So let me hot restart it and then click on this. You can see it is toggling between done and is done. Yeah. So we have completed this handling the clicking function right here. So now the next function will be deleting the to-do. So for deleting the to-do, just like that, I want to pass on the ID for each and everything. So what I will do here is on click delete. So I want to create a function for the deletion also. So basically I'll create another function here. So delete and so this will accept an ID. And for this ID, what it basically does is I'm going to set the state first. So inside the set state, I'll go through all the items from to-do list, and then I'm going to remove where the ID is going to be matching. Okay. So whenever the ID is going to match, so element dot ID should be equal to the ID. So whenever it is going to be equal to the ID, then I'm going to remove it from the to-do list. Okay. So for this, what I'll do is I will again pass this to the controller right here. So before that, I will create the uh, variable here. So deletion. So this will be a required parameter of this dot deletion. Okay. So in the main file, I'll do deletion equal to delete. And then the ID will be removed here because we'll be passing it on here. So this delete button, whenever it is going to be pressed, I have to call that deletion. So deletion and then to do dot ID. So I will restart this or restart it and then go on here And then when I click on this delete button, hopefully the element should be removed. So when I click on this, yeah, it is getting removed. So I'll hot restart it so that I'll get it back. And then yeah, so deletion and handling the click is done right now. So now the final part will be to add a new task. So adding task is also similar. So what I'll be doing now is I'll go to this add to do items. Okay, basically there is nothing to do with add to do item right now. So from this handler, whenever I click on this add button, I have to basically create a new to do. So what I will do is in the controller, so this is on press. It is just basically going to print out the text which is there. So I'll create another function which is called add to do. And then this is going to accept a string, which is the text itself. And then inside the text, I will do set state because I want to re-render the UI whenever the new to-do is going to be added. So for each and every to-do, as we see here, there is a unique ID. So we can't keep a separate count for the ID and then increment it. So what one good thing to do is you can get the value of the date, the current date right now. So I'll just show it quickly how that works. So I'll just create a variable ID, and then that should be from date time, and then this is also a class. So I'll just put now here, and then I will print the ID here. Okay. So when I print the ID here, it should work. So for now, I'm just going to print the ID right here. So whenever I click on this add button, I have to do it. So add to do, and then some sample text, I'll just put it as sample right here, and then hot restart it. So whenever I click on this add button, I should get this time. So you can see it as 2024 3 1, and then the time in 24 hours format. Okay. So this is a time uh, format, but then I want to convert it into a number and then into a string because the ID is of the type string. So I don't want it to be an integer. So what I can do is I can convert this to milliseconds or microseconds. I'll go with microseconds since epoch, meaning whenever the time started from that time to till this, the each and every microsecond is going to be different. So there is no way that there is going to be a clash between two to-dos having the same ID. So and then I'll just convert this to a string like this. And then when I got restarted and then click on this button, you can see there is a unique ID generated each and every microsecond. So this is a really good way to generate IDs so that there won't be a clash between two to-dos right here. So what I'll do is for the to-do list which we currently have, I'm going to add this new to-do. So I'll just do to-do item here, and then the text will be the text from the controller. Okay, so this text will be passed on as a parameter right here, and then this ID will be the ID. So if this is done, I have to clear the controller also, controller dot clear. Okay, so the controller dot clear will be removed from here, and then this sample text will be nothing but the controller's thing itself. So controller dot text. So when I hot restart this, hopefully when I click on the button, it should add a new to do. So I'll type eat dinner and then click on this button. So you can see we successfully implemented adding a new to do to the thing, and then the basic functionality works itself. So if I delete, it deletes. And then when I just put a null value and then click on this, it is going to put out a null value. So this error handling and validation techniques, it's a bit advanced. So this is the basic to-do app working. So you can add new tasks like this. You can add multiple tasks like this. And then the basic convention of to-do apps is that whenever you add a new to-do, it should be displayed in the first. So to do that, what I will do is you can actually reverse this thing right here. So instead of reversing it, that will be a bit complicated right now. So what I will do is let it be this way itself. So that's it, guys. So this is the basic to-do app which we developed right here. So when we look at the image, so they closely match, and then yeah, that is it. And then you can see the functionality. It is reserved for each and every new to-do which will be adding, and then you can delete the to-dos whenever they are completed. Yeah. So that is it with this to-do app. We'll be sharing the source code of this project via the WhatsApp groups, and then we will upload this code to GitHub, and then we'll be sharing these links. Yeah, so that is it from my side. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for joining us. That would be all for Flutter sessions. Thank you very much.